Holy crap, it's finally coming to an end. What's up, everybody? Let's talk Resident Evil today. I know usually when I do commentaries, about 9 times out of 10, they're just goofy stories about things that have happened to me in my past. And for the most part, I'd like to continue to keep it that way, seeing as how I'm not a movie reviewer, a game reviewer, or really anything in between. I'm just a commentator who plays shitty games and makes the highest quality of content. But today, something a little bit momentous occurred in my life. Ever since I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, the movie series Resident Evil has been around. I first saw it in the 3rd grade. This movie series goes back about 14 or 15 years now. It has been around forever, and I'm not sure how they kept getting funding for it, but I am so glad it's been around all these years. None of it really follows a very decent story. I mean, as a matter of fact, after a certain amount of time, I started playing the video games and realized, oh my god, these are so completely different. Which was a little heartbreaking for me because I obviously preferred the video game stories to the movies. I'm getting a little off track here. Like I mentioned before, this series has been around for the majority of my life. And today, the teaser trailers and international trailers for the final movie just released. And almost every comment relating to these movies is actually kinda positive. Now I know that these movies are not good movies. Objectively, they're awful. Their story is shit. Their pacing, bad. But I'm gonna tell you something right fucking now. I love the shit out of these movies. Completely unironically, too. I believe I tweeted out earlier today, Resident Evil is that one series that is so bad. I think it's the worst series of movies that I just legitimately, unironically love. And it's mainly because of Milla Jovovich, who is, of course, the star of the movie. She plays Alice. Who, if you know anything about Resident Evil, the games, you'd know she doesn't actually fucking exist at all in that universe. I would have to say the main reason these movies have always been pretty crap is because the director, Paul W.S. Anderson, who is fantastic at directing action scenes and crazily ridiculous combat, he's also the writer. I remember seeing an interview or reading an interview of his a while ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, where he stated that since he is the writer, he gets an extra 6 to 7 months of pre-production time, which in the movie business, he claims, is a freaking godsend. Unfortunately, that doesn't make him any better of a writer. You could give me 10 years and a limitless supply of alcohol, and I would probably write a grand total of 5 words on the page. Some people just shouldn't be writing movies. And I'll never personally understand why the stories had to be rewritten, why everything had to be molded and reshaped. That seems to be a reoccurring theme with adaptations of any book, is they're very, very loose adaptations that just kind of exist within that world and use certain names that you're familiar with. Which is a damn shame because, like I said, the Resident Evil storyline from the games is pretty fucking awesome. Like, it's really cool. I always hate it when zombie apocalypse stories take themselves too seriously. And at first, that was the biggest problem with the Resident Evil movies, was it took itself a little too seriously. And then it seemed like after the 3rd one, they just stopped giving a shit. Afterlife and Retribution, I believe, are the 4th and 5th movies. They're ending it on a 6th movie. The final chapter looks to be absolutely fucking ludicrous. In my personal opinion, though, the 4th one was probably the worst one in the series. Easily one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I love the other ones, but for some reason, that one in particular seems to be so bad, I actually don't want to go back and watch it, even though I'm going to go back and watch the rest of the movies now that I know the next one is coming out in January. I guess the point of me coming on here today to rant about this godforsaken series of whatever the hell you'd call them, not films, but whatever the hell you'd call them, is that you can like something no matter how shitty it is to the rest of the world. Take Suicide Squad, for example. Pretty much every critic that reviewed that movie hated it. I personally am not a fan of movie critics. There are only a couple guys that call themselves movie critics / reviewers that I personally trust. And that's Your Movie Sucks, who hates all movies, and Jeremy Johns. He doesn't review movies in the same way that other critics will. You understand what the fuck he's talking about. You don't have to be on another plane of existence to understand, which is something I think we can all relate to. But anyway, I digress. Just because critics dislike this and think it sucks, which Like I said, don't get me wrong, the Resident Evil movies are not good movies, but that doesn't mean you can't love them even though they're absolute trash. They're like a guilty pleasure for me, you know? For instance, I love the show Grey's Anatomy. I recently got addicted to it, and I'm fucking hooked. I couldn't tell you why, except for, it's a good show. There's a reason it's been on for 12 years and it's still running. But I'm 100% certain among almost everybody I know that I am completely alone in loving it that much. And I'm gonna go ahead and admit right now that yeah, the quote-unquote point of this video was pretty fucking weak. As a matter of fact, I'm hard-pressed to say there really was a point, even though 12 seconds ago I just did. I just like talking about stuff like this. It gets me excited, I get a little bit heated and passionate about it, and you might see me doing this a little bit more often. Who knows? But anyway, guys, I think I finally run out of steam for whatever the hell you'd call this video. And since we're coming to a close here, I figured I'd apologize if everything seemed kind of jumbled and nonsensical and weird. It seems like whenever I get excited about a topic and I want to talk about it, it gets progressively less and less organized in my mind as I go on. Generally, I can organize my thoughts a lot better if I'm talking to people, but since you guys can't respond until the video's already out and yada yada yada, I have to do my best talking to myself. Anywho, always remember, if you even somewhat enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like, and if you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. And until the next time a momentous movie series comes to an end, no matter how shit it is, I'll be seeing ya.